If you wanted to watch a movie on a Friday night in the 1990s, you didn't press a button on a remote. You got in your car, drove to a massive, bright blue and yellow building, and prayed to the gaming and movie gods that they had one copy of Jurassic Park left on the shelf. That building was a Blockbuster video. They were an absolute powerhouse. At their peak, they had 9,000 stores, 80,000 employees, and were worth over $6 billion. They ruled the entertainment industry with the iron fist. But in September of the year 2000, inside a high-rise office in Dallas, Texas, a meeting took place that would completely erase Blockbuster from the face of the earth. Two young, struggling tech startup founders, a quest from the CEO of Blockbuster, offered to sell him their entire company for $50 million. The CEO looked them in the eye and struggled not to laugh. He thought their business was a joke. Today, on Drama Radar, we are looking at the ultimate story of the corporate arrogance. How Netflix got laughed out of the room, swore revenge, and utterly demolished a multi-billion-dollar agent. To understand why Blockbuster was so confident, you have to understand how they actually made their money. They didn't just make money from renting you movies. A massive portion of Blockbuster's profits came from something everyone hated: late fees. If you bought a VHS tape back a late day, boom, that's a $4 fee. In fact, by the late 90s, late fees made a staggering $800 million of Blockbuster's annual revenue. They were literally counting on their customers being forgetful to keep their business profitable. But in 1997, a software engineer named Reed Hastings got hit with the $40 late fee for returning to the movie Apollo 13 late. He was so incredibly annoyed by this that he decided to build a competitor. Alongside co-founder Mark Randolph, they launched Netflix. Netflix's pitch was simple but completely revolutionary. You order your DVDs online, they mail them to your house, and you can keep them for as long as you want. No stores, no late fees, ever. It was a brilliant idea, but by the year 2000, the dot-com stock market bubble had completely burst. Netflix was bleeding money, losing $50 million that year alone. Desperate to survive, Hastings and Randolph pitched a partnership to the king of the castle. The Netflix founders begged for a meeting from us. Finally, Blockbuster's high-powered CEO, John Antioco, agreed to meet them. The Netflix crew had to charter a plane at the last minute, flying on a red-eye to Dallas. According to Mark Randall's memoir, they walked into Blockbuster's towering, luxurious headquarters looking like absolute underdogs. Antioco was wearing beautiful, expensive Italian loafers and a tailored suit. The Netflix guys walked in wearing t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. But Reed Hastings kept his cool. He laid out a brilliant proposal. Let us run your brand online. We will build Blockbuster.com and handle the mailing service. You guys keep running the physical stores. We can own the entire market together. The Blockbuster executives listened quietly, nodding along like polite professionals. Then, Blockbuster's general counsel asked the big question: if we were to buy you, what number are you thinking? Reed Hastings didn't flinch. He looked at the CEO and said, $50 million. Randolph recalls watching Antioco's face carefully. A tiny involuntary twitch pulled up the corner of the CEO's mouth. John Antioco was physically struggling not to burst out laughing. To the Blockbuster executives, Netflix was a tiny money-losing, insignificant niche business. They believed the dot-com internet hype was a temporary fad. Why on earth would they spend $50 million on a struggling website when they had 9,000 physical gold mines across the globe? They politely but firmly rejected the offer. The meeting was over. As the Netflix vendors got back on their plane, empty-handed and embarrassed, Randolph looked at Hastings and said, Well, it looks like now we're gonna have to kick their ass." And kick your ass they did. Forced to survive on their own, Netflix doubled down. They introduced a flat-rate subscription model that exploded in popularity. By 2004, Blockbuster finally realized that the internet wasn't a fad and tried to launch their own online service, but they were trapped by their own success. Remember that $800 million they made from that famous? If Blockbuster copied Netflix's no late fees model, they would immediately lose nearly $1 billion in revenue, causing their stock to crash. If they were physically anchored to their physical stores and their predatory late fees, then came 2007. Fast internet was spreading worldwide, and Netflix launched its streaming service. You no longer had to wait for a DVD in the mail. You could watch a movie instantly. For Blockbuster, this is the absolute death blow. They had spent billions keeping up physical stores with electricity bills, rent, and employees, while Netflix was operating digitally from a server room. In 2010, just 10 years after laughing at that $50 million offer, Blockbuster officially filed for bankruptcy with over $1 billion in debt. Today, there is only one single Blockbuster store left on Earth, operating as a nostalgic novelty in Bend, Oregon. Meanwhile, Netflix is a global titan worth over $200 billion, producing their own Oscar-winning movies and streaming to hundreds of millions of households worldwide. In the lobby of Netflix's corporate headquarters, they keep a framed photo of that fateful 2000 meeting in Dallas. It serves as a daily permanent reminder. Never laugh at the disruptor building a catapult outside your castle. Was Blockbuster's downfall the most satisfying karma in human history? Or did they just fall victim to bad timing? Let me know in the comments. This is Drama Radar, and we'll see you on the next scan.